In our previous lessons, we have discussed that equatorial region has hot and humid climate and dense vegetation. Now, due to this oppressive climate and impenetrable vegetation, this region is sparsely populated as human beings find it very difficult to survive in this equatorial rainforest. As mentioned just now, very few people live in the equatorial rainforest. In fact, this region is mostly inhabited by indigenous people like pygmies of Congo rainforest. So the native inhabitants of Congo rainforest, which is situated in Central Africa, are called pygmies. Now, these people have adapted themselves to the environment of the equatorial rainforest. They mostly live in the remote interiors of the rainforest and remain cut off from the outside world. These people follow primitive lifestyle and live as hunters and gatherers. People living in equatorial region mostly practice primitive mode of agriculture like shifting cultivation. In case of shifting cultivation, a plot of land is cultivated temporarily. The farmers firstly select a forest land and then the forest land is cleared off by chopping down the trees. Then the debris is burned to clear the land for the purpose of agriculture. The land is cultivated for 2 to 3 cropping seasons and then the farmers abandon the land and move on to a new plot of land. This method of shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn method. In our previous slide, we learned that the people living in equatorial region mostly practice shifting cultivation and subsistence farming. Now we already know how shifting cultivation is practiced. Subsistence farming is a method of crop cultivation where the crops are grown to meet the requirements of the farmer's family. That is, no extra crops are produced for trade. So people living in equatorial region mostly practice primitive mode of agriculture like shifting cultivation and subsistence farming. Now shifting cultivation is known by different names in different parts of the world. For instance, it is known as milpa in South America. It is known as fang in Central Africa and it is further known as ladang in Indonesia and adjoining countries. So here we learned that a primary occupation of the people living in equatorial region is subsistence farming and shifting cultivation. We shall now discuss what are the main crops grown in the equatorial region. Now before we proceed with our lesson, let us try to answer this. Shifting cultivation is also known as dash in South America. Is it known as fang, ladang, milpa or chena? Well, the correct answer is milpa. Another name for shifting cultivation in South America is milpa. Some of the important crops grown in the equatorial region are cassava, yam and banana. Well, let me tell you that cassava and yam are root crops. So these are some of the important crops that are grown in the equatorial region. Now, apart from growing these crops, some important plantations have also been developed in the equatorial region. Let us know about them. I'm sure most of you are fond of chocolates, isn't it? Now, can you tell me from which plant chocolate is obtained? Well, chocolate is obtained from cocoa tree. The beans or fruits are extracted from the fruit pods and then the seeds are dried, fermented and powdered to obtain chocolate. So chocolate that we all love to consume is obtained from cocoa tree. Now cocoa is an important plantation crop in the equatorial region. Do you know where is it grown? Well, Cocoa, which is an important plantation crop of the equatorial region, is mostly grown in the Central African countries of Nigeria and Ghana. So Nigeria and Ghana are the countries where cocoa plantation is quite developed. Now apart from cocoa, other plantation crops are grown in other parts of the world. Let us know about them. Apart from cocoa, other plantation crops like coconut, rubber, palm oil and sugarcane are grown in the equatorial region. Coconut is mainly grown in the countries of Philippines and Indonesia, while rubber is grown in the countries of Malaysia and Indonesia. Also, palm oil is grown in the countries of Malaysia and Indonesia, while sugarcane is mostly cultivated in the country of Indonesia. Thus here we see that plantation crops like coconut, rubber, palm oil and sugarcane are mostly cultivated in the Southeast Asian countries. So from here we understood that agriculture is the primary occupation of people living in the equatorial region. And in this region, some of the food crops like cassava, yam and banana are grown, while plantation crops like cocoa, coconut, sugarcane, palm oil and rubber are also grown in the equatorial region. Now here we have a summary slide on equatorial rainforest. Well, previously we have discussed that equatorial rainforests are located on both the sides of the equator between 10° north and 10° south. Now coming to the climate of equatorial rainforest. Well, the climate of this biome is hot and wet. That is, the mean annual temperature of this region is very high and it experiences heavy rainfall. So equatorial region just experiences one season, which is hot and humid. Now coming to vegetation. Well, we know that the vegetation of equatorial region is very dense and it is mostly covered with evergreen trees. Also, these evergreen rainforests have a great variety of plant species. In today's lesson, we discussed in details about the adaptations of human beings living in equatorial region. We discussed that equatorial region is mostly inhabited by indigenous people like pygmies of Congo rainforest. These people mostly practice primitive mode of agriculture like subsistence farming and shifting cultivation. So this is the entire summary chart on equatorial rainforest. So this brings us to the end of today's lesson. In our next lesson, we will discuss about another biome, that is tropical grasslands. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to our 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million+ questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubt resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, but it's rewarding too. So register for free now.